Okay, yeah, I'm Maximilian von Schirschnitz. I'm from the TU Munich, and I do protocol security. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that now. So, as you know, we have now so many devices that need to be connected in order to fulfill their purpose. And yeah, we prefer to connect them wirelessly and also securely, of course. So in order to do that, we have something called ad hoc pairing protocols. With that, I mean all kinds of protocols that have allow devices that are in an ad hoc scenario. So they have no external infrastructure or PKI available, and they have no pre-shared secrets available to basically establish trust, aka a key. And for that, they interface directly, maybe aided by a user. And we have a lot of these protocols, and we know from experience there's not one size fits it all because devices are different, they have different interfaces. So what we need, or what we have, is so-called connectivity suites or frameworks that combine many of these pairing protocols together and then select the right one in the right situation. And Bluetooth is a classic example of that. And we all use it seems to work fine. The problem is only in 2020 we found this issue, the pairing method confusion. And it was all acknowledged, it's still an open issue, it's not fixed. And we found this, and over the years, more and more people found more and more of these kinds of issues. They all kind of exploit the same principle of confusion. And yeah, that is kind of suspicious. So maybe a short refresher, what do we mean with method confusion? So I will talk about the original method confusion here. So you have, as I said, these different pairing protocols. For instance, in Bluetooth passkey entry, you might have seen that one device displays a random nonce. That nonce is then transferred to the other device and entered as a secret, and based on that we establish trust. Or we have, in case, for instance, we have no keyboard available, numeric comparison. In this case, the devices just exchange data directly and generate these fingerprints, which they display to you, and you have to confirm it. So we have these protocols, and as I said, we are in an ad hoc scenario, so we cannot really assure that these devices execute the same protocol, because obviously there's no authentication yet. So in our attack back then, we allowed one device to do numeric comparison while we forced the other device to do passkey entry. And confusing those both methods broke important security assumptions, which eventually allow you to, yeah, basically gain a man-in-the-middle position. So this is an open issue, this was a big issue, and all the other attacks basically did similar things, confusing protocols. So there seems to be a large underlying issue, and we thought about this a lot, and at some point we said, wait, is this even limited to Bluetooth? Because apparently there's a way how we analyze protocols, and this kind of analyzing way forward just ignores the mismatching of the two sides. So we said, okay, we need to get a systematic approach on this. We need to model this properly, and we need to capture this reality of method confusion. And as I said, we focus on Bluetooth in this work, but we think this can be a larger issue in other kinds of protocol suites. So I encourage you to look further on here. So to start this, our modeling, we start with the ad hoc ecosystem. And that is basically just a situation where a word for, okay, we have many devices and they can all be principally connected with a connectivity framework like Bluetooth. That's all the possible devices that can occur. And then for pairing, obviously a third party, like a user, goes ahead and selects two of these devices. We call them the legitimate pairing partners. And then these devices interact with each other, and have two ways to interact with each other. One is the insecure channel, so Bluetooth unauthenticated whatsoever, and they have a back channel, the out-of-band channel, that is usually low bandwidth, for instance, because a user is transferring data, but it provides some authenticity or sometimes even confidentiality. And that is important because the pairing protocol uses that channel. So talking about the pairing protocol, we said we want to be more realistic now. We want to make sure that we capture the situation that currently everybody thinks, okay, a pairing protocol is just one thing, one block we analyze. We want to split it into two blocks, two sides, or how we call it, two roles. And basically the legitimate pairing partners just conduct a role execution. And the only limitation there really is there can only be one role execution and one partner at a time. So that's the only real limit there is. And obviously, this allows the adversary a lot of freedom. So the adversary may launch role executions at will. If there's not already one running, they can just schedule one. And yeah, maybe also multiple after each other, so they can be chained and mixed and so on. And now our challenge as security researchers becomes much more difficult. We need to prove security holds up in any kind of stacking of these role executions. And this seems like a really big task, if not even an unfeasible task, because there's just so many combinations for that. So we said, okay, first we have to simplify this, and we have to think about this. So there are existing security proofs, there will be more security proofs, and they all make assumptions. And we thought, what kind of assumptions are broken by mixing role executions? And we figured out, okay, I mean, you're not executing code, you're just confusing what code is executed, and that kind of could break assumptions. And we also further observed, okay, obviously we make no security assumptions about data from an insecure channel because we don't trust the insecure channel, right? So, but we do make assumptions in security proofs, and that's important, about data from the out-of-band channel. And that could be, okay, the data I just received over the out-of-band channel is a nonce. Or the data I just sent into the out-of-band channel will be kept secret. And you cannot really be sure about this under confusion because maybe the other side doesn't know that you want to keep it secret. So we have to focus on these out-of-band interactions and only on these out-of-band interactions. And this makes the whole thing now kind of feasible, because yeah, we formalize this, of course, in the work, but you can also visualize it like this. You have these puzzle pieces, and they are always like one role executions, and we can just basically model, okay, out-of-band data going out is a notch out, out-of-band data going in is a notch in. So this is a really neat way to display this to you right now and to think about it. And you can also see something is missing here. The puzzle pieces are not fitting, and that is because obviously we are lacking the user or the third party here that transfers data. And yeah, we can make puzzle pieces for them as well. We took this from the Bluetooth specification, basically, on how the user is supposed to interact or expected to interact. So a user can either receive values from both sides and confirm if they're equal, or receive data and transfer it and confirm the transfer, or just enter random data onto both sides. If you have something else than Bluetooth, you have to adjust this, obviously. So now we have all the puzzle pieces, and the attacker can now work against us and puzzle against us. So the attacker's goal is obviously to align these puzzle pieces so the notches align on the timeline, and then this way make sure that yeah, maybe some assumptions are broken, yeah, or that's the goal of the attacker, and our goal is to prevent that. So we broke this all now down to a feasible issue which we can iterate through, even on a pen and paper proof. And we did that, and obviously you can find the attack we already discovered, again in this model, and also other known attacks, and that's nice, but a little bit boring. Right, so what we wanted to do then is look at something new. And for that we took a proposal that came from Shi et al. That basically said, okay, the method confusion, maybe we can fix it by adding like 2 new methods that are now the super secure methods to Bluetooth that cannot be confused. And how they want to achieve this is they run basically normal numeric comparison, normal passkey entry, and then basically hash all the previous messages of these exchanges and compare them in patched NC and patched PE, either by comparing or transferring them. And this way, we kind of are supposed to detect if a confusion has occurred. So yeah, we took the liberty and made some puzzle pieces for this and analyzed this. So we basically throw these puzzle pieces together and with Bluetooth as they suggested and see what comes out. Unfortunately, man in the middle is still possible if you look at this through the lens of our model, because you can still confuse numeric comparison with passkey entry, and there's more details on this in the paper, but you can gain man in the middle and basically compromise both sides this way. And that's obviously a problem. And another problem we realized by doing this kind of thinking is you cannot fix Bluetooth anymore. And that's an important message I want you to take home. Bluetooth is fundamentally broken now because it supports passkey entry and some other methods that are always tools which you can use for confusion, even if you add something new. So we said, okay, let's be fair. We see that point. We need a clean slate approach. So what about we use Xi et al.'s patch pairing as a new framework, yeah? And we tried around with that, and it's better. No man in the middle is possible, but we think there's still a security issue because you can confuse patch pairing with itself, and that is not a man-in-middle pairing, but only one side is basically now compromised, which is better, but obviously nothing we want to have if we design something from scratch, if we make a new standard, right? So we think there should be something new. We need to start this new. This is like just a formal necessity at this point, but not just with how it is right now. So our solution is extended pairing, and it's quite similar to what Xi et al. Suggested with some small differences. You can see that when we go into the puzzle piece view again. You can see here on the right, the Xi et al. Solution had 2 interactions here for PPE, and we have just 1 interaction for XPE. And what you can't really see in this, because we don't have the time and detail to talk about this, but there's important timing restrictions here. So these methods enforce timing limits and also produce time delays that basically prevent you as an attacker to confuse them with each other. And we've formally shown that in our work. So we have shown that all of this works together and is formally secure even in this extended threat model, which is very wide now and captures all of method confusion in our opinion. And also what I can tell you right now is that this kind of combination is equivalent to what Bluetooth supports right now at the moment. So you can just take this, make a new connectivity framework out of it, whatever, Bluetooth 2.0, whatever, and or different name, and it will support all the devices and all the user base that Bluetooth currently supports. The user will have no idea, basically, except that the name changed. And yeah, so in conclusion, we built a threat model around something we think is a gaping issue in the whole protocol analysis issue, and we applied it to Bluetooth. And we saw even more issues occurring for that, more attacks are possible even on current proposed solutions. And we took the inspiration from these solutions and we worked out something that would actually work even in the strong, very strong attacker model. So yeah, we implemented all of this and it's all available and you can test it and so on. And I hope the QR code works, I don't know. And I would be very happy to discuss this through the whole conference. Just approach me or send me an email or like find me. I would really like to talk more about this because I think this is really interesting and I would like to have some more opinions from you guys. Right, there's my sources. Yeah. Good.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions? I'm going to get the record for no questions asked from the audience. All right, you make me watch every presentation now because I have to create questions. That was a very interesting presentation, though. You said something that stuck to me, that Bluetooth is broken. Yeah. And I've been wondering, what are the lessons learned for the next version? Because eventually there will be next iterations, right? So can something change in order to avoid this problem in the next specification of Bluetooth, the next version of it?
Well, I think when I say Bluetooth, we need a new iteration. What I mean mainly is like, okay, there have been Bluetooth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And the problem is they always add it on top. So they said, okay, we need to keep these legacy methods around. And what we really need is, unfortunately, a clean slate. We need to chop off all of these old versions because we can never, as our research shows, make any new framework secure by just adding to Bluetooth and calling it Bluetooth 6, 7, whatever. We need to start fresh. And to the part of your question, yeah, we can make it secure. I mean, we're always trying that, right? It's just something more to think about now, this confusion aspect. And I think, yeah, that's basically it. If we think about this, we can make this secure. We just have to really think about it, yeah.
That would be a different protocol, though, right? I mean, if we are to restart it without legacy support, it should be given a different name, right?
Right. I think it's also important for people to not then, like, to know that it's something different so they don't confuse it with Bluetooth in itself again, yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, no more questions, so let us thank the speaker again.